Something is not right in this town, Part 1, written by Guilty Patience. I work at a 24-hour ice cream shop in a desolate town, in one of the hottest places in the entirety of existence, with a population of no more than 1,000. The turquoise-colored walls, rainbow floor tiles, decorated tables, speakers playing music with 5 televisions throughout the entire store seems friendly enough to blind the eye. In my town, weird events take place, and I figured that I'd post them here as a way to vent and to talk to other people who aren't therapists. I'll list some of the events before starting with what happened today to give you an idea of how things are around here. On my first day, I was asked by the manager to sign a contract. The contract stated that employees were not to quit until at least 1 year of working there, which was suspicious at first. I've been working here for about 2 years now, and only recently got 2 more coworkers after the last few went missing under mysterious circumstances, along with the last 7 health inspectors. I'm starting to think that Marcella may be the cause of this, but I can't be sure. Marcella is one of the more aggressive things around here. She's tan-skinned and has curly brown hair that covers her entire face and reaches her shoulders, wrapped in a red gown. She's always in the bathroom. What she does in there, no one knows. She never speaks, and she doesn't take too kindly to people who try to remove her from the establishment. A few months ago, a man tried to forcefully drag her out of the bathroom for his wife to use it, which resulted in the man getting his jaw ripped off in front of his wife and son. I was the lucky one to see all of this happen, and I called an ambulance. The police tried to contain her, but she only retreated into the mirror. We almost got sued and nearly had to close down because of that. But the man and his family went missing a few days after the incident, and no trace of them was ever found. The police gave up as they suspected they simply moved away, but they urged us to get rid of the entity. My boss was thrilled at the fact that he had avoided a lawsuit thanks to a disappearance. Yeah. We tried to get rid of the mirror and even tried to destroy it on one occasion, yet it keeps appearing back hours later. No customer uses the restroom anymore, as most people are uncomfortable to the thought of the strange new entity watching them as they try to do their business. My coworkers and I, however, we're used to her. She isn't the only strange thing around here. We've been finding eyes in the ice cream buckets in the freezers. They seem to only appear in the matcha-flavored ice cream, the least popular flavor here and my personal favorite. This really annoyed me, as matcha was one of the few flavors that I could eat and not have anyone notice the decline in supply, as it wasn't very popular. You can imagine my disappointment when I went into the freezer expecting to eat some ice cream in this flaming heat of a town, only to find organs of sight in the ice cream tub instead. My coworkers, however, had very different reactions. Today, my coworker Sam went into the freezer to get a tub of mint ice cream to refill the tub that's on display for the customers. It's one of the most popular flavors. Instead, my other coworker Hosha and I heard Sam yell from the freezer. I figured that she'd seen the eyes in the tub of ice cream, which confused me, as it shouldn't have been in the mint-flavored tub. Hosha dropped the mop he was putting away and ran to the freezer as I reluctantly followed. What is it?" he squeaked. "Check this out. There are eyeballs in the ice cream," Sam said, laughing as she dug them out of the opened ice cream tub. I stared at the eyes in her hand, which were all sorts of colors. Brown, blue, green. That's odd. Usually they only appear in the matcha ice cream, I spoke up, nonchalantly, as I always did. Hasha looked disturbed as he turned to look at me. "Is that all you have to say? These are eyes," he cried. I looked at Hasha and answered, "It only gets worse from here." I walked out of the freezer and sat in the seat that I'd put near the register so that I wouldn't have to stand when there weren't any customers around. As I picked up my book from the inside of my bag that was slung over the chair. The book was The Catcher in the Rye. I'd gotten it from the public library as a gift after treating the librarian with some ice cream on their birthday. Okay, I might have stolen it, but that's not what this is about. As I was about to open up the book to the last page that I'd been reading, I heard the bell on the door go off, indicating that someone had entered. I looked up to see a young brown-haired, pale-skinned man with a gray hoodie and jeans. He walked up to the register with his hands in his pockets and a slight grin on his face. Once he was in front of me, I could see the dark bags under his eyes. I stared at him and asked, "Welcome to Logo's Ice Cream. How may I help you today?" He looked up at our colorful menu behind the counter and thought for a moment. "I'd like a mango and peach ice cream in a large sprinkled cone, please." I put on gloves and began to scoop up what he had asked for and put it neatly on a sprinkled covered cone. "Anything else?" I asked, bored. He shook his head, grinning. "That'll be all," he cooed, which made me severely uncomfortable. Uncomfortable enough that I shuddered. I typed in his order at the cash register. "That'll be $4.58, I said. The man took out a $5 bill and handed it to me as I handed him his ice cream. I typed in the amount as I opened the register and took out his change, then I handed it back to him. "Would you like a receipt?" I asked. He looked at me, still grinning. "No thanks. Keep the change," he chirped. I shrugged and put it in the tip jar next to our spoons. The man made his way to the door, but before he walked out, he turned to me and smirked. "Thanks, Mason." He grinned, and with that, he walked out as the bell rung after the door opened. I thought nothing of it at the time. After Sam and Hosha walked back to the front of the store holding two small black bags, which I assumed had the eyes in them. "Who puts eyes in tubs of ice cream?" Hosha whimpered. Sam rolled her eyes as she walked to the back door. "Who else? It's probably the boss trying to freak us out. He wants to scare us all so that we'll quit," she explained confidently. I sighed. Sam never took any of these occurrences seriously. I didn't blame her because I didn't really either. But I didn't because I couldn't care less. Sam, however, didn't believe the eyes were from people. She didn't want to believe any of it. I envied her ignorance. However, Hosha was too nosy. And he was curious, which caused him to grow scared of the job. And in hindsight, it is not a good thing to be scared of the job. I had a feeling that Hosha wouldn't last the other 9 months before he could quit. Sam walked out of the shop and disappeared to the back of the establishment. Hosha quickly followed her to make sure that she wasn't alone out there. I managed to get back to my book as the clock struck 10 p.m. After some time had passed, I looked at the clock only to see that it read 10:15 p.m. Confused as to why Sam and Hosha hadn't returned yet from depositing the eyeballs, since it shouldn't have taken 15 minutes to throw away 2 bags in a dumpster. I mean, it was literally 30 seconds away from the front of the store. Anyway, I decided to give them 3 more minutes before leaving to see what was taking them so long. But before even a minute had passed, I saw Sam and Hosha return. Sam looked annoyed while Hosha looked at the box in his scratched up arms, seemingly pleased with the contents inside. I wondered for a moment if a squirrel had attacked Hosha again. I'll talk about that some other time. "Hey, Morgan, call Animal and Poison Control," Sam sighed out. "Okay, what do I tell them?" I asked as I picked up the store phone, dialing the number on the board for all kinds of situations. "We found 3-eyed cats near the dumpster. Check it out," Hosha blurted out in disbelief. The part about this that I found odd was as soon as Animal Control arrived, expecting to find employees high out of their minds, only to find mutated felines, the head of the group walked up to me after containing the cats who had decided they weren't going without a fight, and the man said, "You're the caller, right?" I nodded. "Look, boy, we don't need to investigate as we think there might be some sort of chemical waste." He looked at me expectantly. "My name's Morgan," I told him. "Okay. Take care, Morgan, and call if any other animals are found," he told me as I nodded. When they left, I packed up my stuff to leave for the day when it suddenly hit me. The customer from earlier. How'd he known my real name? I've never seen him before in my life, and the name written on my name tag is Morgan, not Mason. Whoever this guy was, I don't think I want to find out. And hopefully, I don't see him again anytime soon. I'll post again if anything else happens, but I needed to get that off my chest. But for now, this is all that I have to say. Be safe out there.